Welcome to Life on the Rocks, your innovative entrepreneurship and motivational based show where we ask the real questions by tapping into the minds of successful, high-performing individuals. I'm going to predicate to you that luck is an illusion, disproving the myth that there's a such thing as an overnight success. Get ready and strap in 3, 2, 1. We're coming at you live from Life on the Rocks with your host, Connor Larocque. Today's featured guest in the hot seat is my friend, Mark Broadfoot. Mark, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Doing great, man.
Good.
Nice to have you on the show. For anyone who doesn't know, Mark is the owner of Sudbury's Boss Supplements, the prestigious brand you actually see all over the gyms, all the big guys walking around representing Boss Supplements right there. Mark, for anyone who doesn't know, tell us a little bit about yourself. Mark actually is a provincial bodybuilder as well, so go into a little context of who you are, what you do, and what you're looking to accomplish.
Alrighty, well, my name is Mark, as you know. I'm originally from Wasaga Beach. I grew up there and ended up going to Humber College in Toronto, where I lived for about 5 years. I studied fitness and health promotion, graduated, became a personal trainer at a studio called Bodies by Design, which was one of the top personal training studios in Vaughan. I decided to go back to school to York, where I took kinesiology. Nice. And then ended up transferring to Nipissing at North Bay, which is close to Sudbury. About a month before graduation, the school went on strike. So I had some downtime and a bit of time to think. And I ended up making good contacts with the guys from Boss Supplements in Barrie. Joel, who's the CEO, and I became good friends, and he talked to me about franchising. And I brought the opportunity up to my parents at dinner table and ran the idea by them, and I ended up dropping out of university and opening Boss in Sudbury. So here I am.
No, that's huge. If you actually look at it, how long have you been in business with Boss?
Not even going on my full year in April, so 10 months now.
See this guy, so he's only been in business for a full year, and literally I've seen, like, you have over, 12,000 followers on Instagram alone. Yeah. I see the brand all over the gym. I'm in Good Life. When I was in Laurentian's gym for a long time, like, you've done a substantial job. That's alone. That's only in a year. Can you imagine 5 years? Exactly. Going off of this, so you ended up dropping out your last year. Like, you already got your 1 degree, but then you ended up dropping out that last year?
Yep.
No kidding, So that's good. How did you feel? Like, have you always had the entrepreneurial spirit, or was it just one of those decisions where you wanted to take your passion and then convert it into a business?
I think my father would probably say that I've had the entrepreneurial spirit since I was a kid. I started working when I was 10, selling newspaper subscriptions door to door, and just really enjoyed the concept of making money. And I always had different ideas of, what to do and what business venture to go on and what business I could create myself. But the opportunity to start at the bottom with Boss Supplements was just too good to pass up on. So here I am.
No, absolutely. I was going to say, what did you find harder? So being, like I said, you were a provincial bodybuilder, and then you went into the entrepreneur field, which is obviously, I think it's one of the most prestigious things. It's one of the most difficult things, but yet, if you're able to pull it off, rewarding. Mm-hmm. And if you look at Mark's business right now, like I said, you see the brand equity is very strong in the city. What do you think was harder? Was it, like, from a mental standpoint, was it harder to be an entrepreneur, or was it harder going into competitions? One's physical, or is one mental, or... Give me a little bit of feedback through that.
After doing both, I think they're both pretty difficult for different reasons. As any competitor could probably tell you, there's nothing that's more physically or mentally challenging than going through a full contest prep. Just the low levels of energy when you're depleted right before the show, and extreme hours in the gym on top of our normal work schedule as well is really hard to beat. I'd say I put more hours into the business. So for my work, I put more hours into it. It's not as taxing on the mind or the body as contest prep, but they're both very demanding for sure.
I was going to say, it's one of those things, trying to put yourself into that mentality. How valuable do you think it is as a bodybuilder, now that you're owning pretty much a Boss Supplement store, like how valuable do you think that is to cross over? So you've done it, you've done the competitions, now you're able to kind of promote that brand, sell the supplements, do the different things. How important do you think that is?
Well, it's definitely good as a business owner to practice what you preach and to kind of be. I am a customer. I am a supplement user. I can relate to my customers on the ground floor, and I know what works for me because I use the products, and I know what pre-workout affects me the best, and I know which BCAAs taste the best, and I know which protein I like.
What to take. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I've taken everything because I use them on a regular basis, and and I know what works and what doesn't. That's the bottom line. Where some of the big brands and corporations will just, they're going to bring in products that have the best margin and what's going to make them the most money.
Absolutely, yeah.
Whereas they're thinking about the numbers, where I'm thinking about the customers, because at the end of the day, I am one, and I want to make sure that people are getting stuff that's working for them.
Exactly. It's kind of funny. So it's similar to, the personal development field. I see a lot of these motivational speakers that are coming out. I'm a motivational speaker, and then they're just speaking on behalf of the idea of motivation. You see it all over Facebook. Nothing wrong with those people. It's nice that, they want to promote positivity. But I myself, I'm looking back and I'm like, okay, I actually went in backwards. I went in as a motivational speaker first, like just promoting content, writing, all this stuff. When, some of my favorite mentors you've seen is Gary Vaynerchuk, Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins. They all went and grew these multi-million-dollar businesses, and then they went into it like that. So it's kind of, I guess, the same thing with supplements. You don't want to have, I don't want to say it in a bad way, but you don't want to have someone that kind of doesn't look like they're doing, or like really overweight, selling you supplements, saying, oh, this is the one to do. It's that legitimacy factor, I think. So that's where I seen with you. I went in there, I'm like, Mark, I need the best pre-workout I can get. It's like, I want to get to a 10x level, and you're right there. You're like, this is it, try this. I'm like, well, I'm sold on that description. It looks a lot better, right?
Right.
It's one of those things. So I want to transition here. So Mark's actually a very heavy figure on social media. So that's another thing. So I want to ask, how important do you think in terms of growing a business is social media in this day and age?
Oh, it's huge, because as the saying goes, you build it and they will come, but you need to let them know that it's there. And, I took a huge risk. I mean, I didn't mention before, but my investor is my father. He took out a great deal of money to invest in me, and so I don't want to let him down. I don't want to let myself down. So I've got a lot on the line, and to me, that's not really a risk. It's more of a motivation. It's like, what, I don't have an option to fail, so how can I go, do the best I possibly can to get my father a great return on his investment, and to make this thing a success. So, right when I made the decision back last year in November that I was going to work with Boss and I'm going to open a franchise, I picked Sudbury, and I knew the exact area I wanted to go on through social media. Now, a lot of people will do demographics, and they will take a look at where they want to open based on income and based on this and that, but I went a different route, and I used social media, and I've only been to Sudbury a couple times, and I was able to figure out that I wanted to be in New Sudbury for my location, just based on Instagram and who's posting where. And the two gyms that were posting the most were the Good Life on the Cell, which is very busy, and T2 the gym. So I had a good idea from being to Sudbury one time that the real hardcore fitness competitors and the people who are really enthusiastic about competing and training and eating healthy are right at T2 the gym, and it's kind of like a family feel. And then the really busy commercial gym is the Good Life on the Cell, so I put myself right in between the two. So the location's perfect, and I found that through social media, but then I wanted to let people know that I was going to be there. So I started doing campaigns and giveaways and reposting, sharing, doing demos in the gyms before I opened. And that really helped my grand opening be a big success, and I just kept the ball rolling from there.
Exactly. I think right off of what Mark said, it's that momentum too at the end of it, where you keep that momentum train going, because if it stops, then people might say, oh, I might go to a different supplement store, but you're targeted specifically. I think that's actually genius. As I always tell people, it's not about being smart, it's about being strategic. So people are leaving Good Life like, I need a protein bar. I'm going to go to the grocery store, they're driving right by, there's Boss Supplements.
Right.
Why wouldn't they walk right on the Cell, which is a prime time area? So I think you've been effective. I'm kind of sitting back here right now interviewing you and thinking to myself, I'm like, you've only been open for a year, and I'm just looking around the city. I don't know if Barrie did that effective of a job to have that many shirts. I think that's you in the city alone that's gotten the brand awareness, I guess we could say.
No, well, definitely. For
Barrie's obviously did well. That's not what I'm saying, but you know what I mean. Like, they're everywhere. Everywhere you go, someone's got a Boss Supplement shirt.
Well, just from the two stores that we have, and now a third opening in Vaughan, we've got shirts in as far as Windsor, right up north. I've heard of very far up north, people are wearing Hearst. The gym out there is full of Boss, and we've done a great job because we live it. We are customers. The general manager and CEO and president of Barrie, he's a bodybuilder himself too, and he's got a great team of individuals like Matt, Corey, Carly, and Alicia that are big into the core fitness group, and they're competitors as well, and they believe in the product, they believe in the brand, and they'll help other people out like I do. So customer service is huge for Boss, and then the brand too is like some of our competitions, they might be a little bit niched to one area of people, where everyone wants to be a boss. Everyone feels like a boss when they're wearing the clothing, when they're wearing the brand. So, our brand appeals to a huge market of everyone from men and women, ages early, kids love it, older population likes it too. And right from the general regular fitness gym goer to the competitive bodybuilder, and I've had people that don't work out at all see my shirts and they come into the store and they just want to wear one too. So
I'd say, yeah,
the brand's powerful.
It is really powerful. I mean, that's the one thing, you look at these brands like Coke and Pepsi, but when I first saw Boss, I kept thinking, I'm like, you thinking Hugo Boss, but I'm like, no, that doesn't have the same kind of, it looked like something different, right? So going off of that, actually, the same idea he was just talking, so, you have a lot of bodybuilders representing the brand. One of my friends in the city, so Jesse Cronje, so is that okay? I can talk about it?
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, you guys represent bodybuilders primarily, those are your sponsors. You just transitioned now into the martial arts sphere, so you're taking a local fighter, Jesse Cronje, and then you're bringing him on. I was telling about that. I'm like, it's one of those things. So a martial artist or a bodybuilder is such a fierce sport. Like, it's that bold aspect that you carry.
Right.
How important do you think it is to go into different markets like that? So, you're bodybuilding, like people associate with bodybuilding, but now you're seeing that you go different routes, right? Kind of transition.
Exactly. Like I was just saying, that you don't want to niche yourself to one market, one small market. So having backing some competitors that are great, like Jesse's going to do really well. He's really well known in the community, and I want to do the best I can to support him. On his training, because it's definitely expensive. Putting all that time into your training and competing is really difficult. And I give him all the props in the world. He's putting in all the hours on top of his regular work schedule and everything, going above and beyond. And athletes like that deserve to be recognized and supported the best that you can.
For sure. And it's kind of funny. So I'm good friends with, so they have a big competition coming up on April 8th. I'm actually really good friends with Kyle as well. So nothing against Kyle. Kyle's an awesome athlete. Same thing. That's going to be a great competition. Mm-hmm. So we're going to see, I'm assuming we'll see Boss there, right?
Yeah, we'll be there.
So here's another thing. So we're talking about Jesse. We're talking about, building the brand, all these different things. I like being transitioning on the show, talking about millennials. You're only 27. Mark's also a millennial, just like myself. What do you think? So when you're marketing to millennials specifically as an audience, do you focus on, let's say, so if they want to go in the gym looking good, or are you maybe, is it more promotion of just like the brand itself, like being bold, like you said, like it's a bold brand? Is it targeting, you know what I meant, or...
Yeah, I'm following.
That's funny.
Yeah, for sure. I think when speaking to millennials, it's just being real, and like we're all about is customer service, and we're all about being real with our customers, and we use the products ourselves, and it's really important to just kind of work hard, but be yourself, be authentic, and just do the best job that you can.
That's really what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, and to close this off, I want to ask one last question, because this is important. Just to put this back in perspective, Mark's only been in business here for a year. The shirts are everywhere. Where do you see yourself going with the brand alone, with Boss? Where would you see that brand going within the next few years in the community, along with on a national level? Like this seems the same thing as I talked to Ryan Benoit with Positive Inception. It's going to be a global brand. You have the power behind it, and you're going to have the momentum with these bodybuilders going on bigger spheres, martial artists, whoever else you bring in there. Where do you see Boss going?
Well, definitely we're gonna go all over North America for sure. Joel and I joked about saying, in the winter, not shoveling snow is not the most fun thing to do. So our 5-year goal is to open one, and he would open one in Miami, and I'd open one in California. But I'm not sure if we'll go with that route or not. We might stick to Ontario here, but I want to open. I know I've signed a lease already in Toronto, so I plan on living in Sudbury and general managing both stores. And I hope to run a few and be heavily involved in the Boss corporate as well.
Oh, sorry to cut you off, but yeah, no, that's perfect. I was going to say, so how many employees so far? Like just in the city alone, do you have what, 5, 6, 7?
Yeah, I've got about that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Including some demo staff, so it's been pretty good. And yeah.
No, you're moving them around. I mean, like I said, the brand's going substantially. I've only seen it in a year, and I'm the type of guy, I want to go, when I'm doing something, I'm going to go all in. We're going to execute effectively. I mean, you've been in a year, I see your brand, it's strong. I can't wait to see what's going to be presented. Especially one last thing, as for yourself, Mark, are you going to compete again in competition, or are you just focusing all in on your business, taking this to the next level?
I'm trying to consider that. I don't want to bite off more than I can chew. And you've got to go with competing and with work. You've got to go 100% in at everything. And there's just not enough hours in the day to go 100% at both competition and business. And I learned that the hard way last year when I opened Boston Sudbury and I was training for 2 shows. So I was waking up at 6:30 in the morning, doing my fasted cardio. I was at work by 9. Worked 12-hour shift because I was the only employee back then. And then I closed up at 9, went right to T2, trained till 11, and then I was home cooking meals and in bed again. So I did that every single day, and Saturday and Sunday were shorter shifts, 8 hours. They weren't 12, but that's when you're doing laundry and dishes and cleaning up and all those things. So that made for pretty long days every day, and I was definitely heading towards burnout. So I don't want to do both again. I didn't want to sacrifice my prep or my business, so I went all in.
Exactly.
And I think right now I'm going to focus on my business and see where that,
No, it's
that
huge.
takes me.
The return on that too, because I mean, you can only do the physical. Like you can always do the physical, but like to
Right.
take it to the extreme, right? I was gonna say there's not even a good pre-workout for that. You know, to keep you going for 7 days
Exactly,
straight, 365 days a year. One funny thing, I want to add a quote at the end of this. So Mark was going off of, you know, he had to find that balance. He had to do all this stuff. I'm similar myself. Like I need a lot of things on my plate. Like I need a lot of things going because it keeps me actually more focused. So I kind of live off the quote with Grant Cardone, and it's a little bit mixed up for some people. He's like, I don't need balance in life. I just want to blow it up. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. And it's the same thing with branding or with your personal stuff. You want to just take it to the next level.
That's right.
And to be honest, Mark, you've done a substantial job, man. And in the community alone, Mark's a big public figure. We're going to see a lot more coming from you. And I'm excited to see it, man. So it's been honestly a pleasure being here. Take a look at Mark on social media. So it's Mark Broadfoot on Facebook. Tell him your Instagram and your Twitter if you want to get it out there.
Instagram is Mark Broadfoot as well, and at Boss Sudbury for the business.
There we go. Make sure you like his page. It's already got tons of likes, and we're gonna have a lot of good times.
Right on, yeah.
There you go. Thank you so much.
Yep.